Good evening. I'd like to welcome you to this Monday, June 12th, 2023 workshop session of the Carmel Clay School Board. I do want to go ahead and do our roll call tonight. Miss Jackson and Miss Williams are not here tonight, but we do have a quorum. If you would please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, we're so excited to go ahead and get started with our presentations tonight. As Dr. Beresford so eloquently put it, we have a lot of brain power in this room tonight, and I'm so excited to celebrate each and every one of you. We are going to start tonight with the 2023 Indiana Robotics State Championship. Miss Kathy Olson. Yeah, I did.
All right, good evening. My robotics team always stands out in a crowd with their amazing pink shirts that they have for their team. This was our second year officially for a robotics team. We had taken a break, and my STEM teacher, Ryan Thomas, who had been with us, she had to leave for another professional opportunity at semester, and these boys and girls continued with the team, and these wonderful parents continue with the team to the point in which was well beyond our expectations, went from being an elementary robotics team to being world's robotics team, representing Carmel and representing the first elementary school in Carmel to go to the robotics worlds. We never thought when you would start building a robot that they would end up flying as elementary students to Texas in order to represent both themselves, Collegewood, and the world of STEM so successfully. So we are super proud of them, and we hope this is just the start of something to come with these four. We're missing one tonight, so five men and or young girls and boys who are so interested in a different world outside of just simply the things we learn at school. So we're very proud of them and congratulate them for going not only to Worlds, but obviously all the ways they got there too, through local competitions and state competitions. So congratulations to all of them. So. Absolutely. So first we have Jiju, and Jiju, all of these students are going to be in 6th grade at All right. Next is Vincent. Next is Logan. And next is Layla. Yes. And Ben is not here with us this evening, so we sent these five, and they represented so well, and we're so proud of them. And they are good things to come for Creekside and that robotics program.
We will now be presenting on the Cyber Patriot National Finals. Dr. Ferris. And I will let all of you know is after our presentations, we'll take a short pause so that if you have fun summer plans tonight that don't include at a school board meeting, you're free to go.
Good evening, and thank you for having us this evening. It is my honor and privilege to be here to represent our Carmel High School staff. And we have two groups and two individuals that we're going to be recognizing tonight. And it is remarkable with all the accomplishments that go on each day at Carmel High School. And this is just an opportunity for you to kind of see kind of a breadth of different opportunities that our students have on a daily basis. Opportunity is a word I love to speak on and speak about to our students, that every day is an opportunity and to take advantage of that. And these individuals that you're going to see tonight have taken advantage of every opportunity that has been given to them and represented us in more ways than we can even begin to imagine. So at this time, I'm going to ask our coach, Carrie Anderson, to come forward as she is going to talk a little bit about our Cyber Patriot National Finals team and call up our students.
Okay. Is it on? Okay. I would like to just give you a little background of what Cyber Patriot might be about. So it is a national organization from the Air Force Association, and we have been defending state champions. We have been rocking it in Indiana, but now we also then qualified for a cyber security. It's called a semifinalist, and we had 3 teams of our 6 teams qualify for that. And this one team then qualified to be in the top 12 out of 2,500 teams that started this competition. And we were invited to participate in the finals. And that meant that they let us go to Rockville, Maryland. We felt like we were royalty. They gave us a hotel room, and they gave us our food and lodging and everything, and the flight. And I'm so proud of these students because in the end, we realized that we were one of the only Midwest teams that were there. We got to meet so many other people from all over United States and even Canada and in Silicon Valley, and we said, hey, we're here, we're Midwest. And these students did a fantastic job. And out of the 12 teams that they participated in, they ranked 6th. So we cut it in half, and we're ready to go back next year. And they also won first place in the Boeing competition. And so I just want to tell you a little bit about the Boeing competition that they won and beat everybody on. In the Boeing Cyber Patriot Cyber Physical Systems Challenge, teams are presented in an operational system that tracks and maintains flight information. Each team acts as a product security engineering team that has been tasked with securing the system from threats and could impact air safety. So they were presented an award for that, and I would like to go ahead and allow you to see these wonderful students. So our team captain will go ahead and come up first. That is David Ravikant. Hyan Zuan. John Thomas. Michael Bow. Sid Sang, oh, help me. Sangarkar. And Sandra Yang is out of town right now in China, but there's Sangarkar. There we go.
And now our 2023 National Economics Challenge.
All right, so I'd like to invite Coach Michelle Fouts up. And while Michelle's making her way up, I will tell you I don't know if anybody saw this or not, but it was very cool to see. I know Dr. B watched it because we saw the live feed, but how cool it was for us to be able to witness and to see on Facebook the World Championship that these individuals received through their Global Economics Challenge. So I'll let Michelle speak a little bit about our students and the great success that they had.
Thank you. Just to give you a little bit of background about the competition, it's a national competition. It's organized by the Council on Economic Education. And there are state competitions at the initial level throughout the United States. And the Purdue Economics Council hosted the state competition in Indiana. And our group of students won first place in the state competition. And by the way, I should stop. You're probably wondering, well, what is it that they do? They are answering questions, both microeconomics, macroeconomics, current events, international trade in a multiple choice format. And then there is also a quiz bowl round component of the competition. So they won state, and then there is a national exam that all of the state winners take. And the top 6 teams among all of the state winners are given an all expense paid trip to New York City for the national finals. And so our group was one of the 6 out of all of the state winners in the United States that earned that spot at the national finals in New York City. And there are 2 divisions. The division that our students represented was the advanced division. So those are students who have taken either advanced placement economics, an honors economics IB econ course, or taken more than one economics course. And I will tell you that Carmel High School was the only public school represented in this division. And the other schools were very elite private boarding schools in different parts of the country. So we felt very proud to represent public schools and also to represent Indiana. But so they competed in they had at this level, at the national finals, there's a presentation they have to give. They're given a topic to address with multiple questions, and they have 12 minutes to present. They have 30 minutes to prepare a presentation, 12 minutes to present it, and then out of the final 6, the top 4 teams compete in a quiz bowl round, and that was live, hosted by Steve Leisman on CNBC, and they won. So they were national champions. And then they asked us to stay an extra day to compete against China, and they beat China, and so they are international champions as well. So, yes. But and last thing, this is truly, I believe this is truly a dream team. They're so incredible academically, but then all of them are part of a peer mentor SRT, and so they are very generous with their time to help others learn economics and other subject areas. So that's another special part about this group, is that they're very generous to in helping other people in their community. So we're very proud of them for many reasons. So I guess, yes. I'll introduce them now. Amoga Palaru, come on up. Will Kurlander. Jordan Siegel. And Richard Gao. We have 3 seniors and 1 junior. Richard will be returning next year. A lot of pressure, Richard.
And now our presidential scholar. One of them, which is amazing to say.
Amoga, come on back up here. Each year, go ahead. Go ahead and stand over here. You'll probably want to clap multiple times for Amoga. So the United States Presidential Scholars Program was established in 1964 to recognize and honor some of our nation's most distinguished graduating high school seniors. Each year, up to 161 students are named as presidential scholars. Okay, so that's across the country. And it is one of the nation's highest honors for high school students. Amoga Pularu and Archit, who's not with us, will recognize Archit, I think, on July 24th, were among 5,000 candidates of the 3.7 million U.S. students that were expected to graduate this spring, who qualified for consideration based on their SAT or ACT exam scores. Candidates were then asked to complete an extensive application where their academic success, essays, school evaluations, and commitment to community service and leadership were reviewed. One young woman and one young man from each state, so from Indiana, each state, are selected as presidential scholars. It is crazy to get one, every so many years. We have 2 this year. Both of them are from Carmel High School, and Amoga is one of them. Now, go ahead. Now, when this was announced, it was like 7:30 in the morning. We get a phone call from WTHR, and they want to come and they want to do a interview. And we did not prep them for anything to say. And Archit said one thing, and I'll save that for July 24th. And I don't even know if Amoga remembers what you said. Do you remember any of it? Yes. Yeah, she talked about, this is remarkable. We could not pay her to say these things, but she talked about the impact of teachers. She talked about that it starts at her elementary. Where'd you go to elementary? West Clay. Where'd you go to middle school? Creekside, and Carmel High School. And she talked about what the foundation is built at the elementary, how it continues in the middle school, and then it comes all together and culminates at Carmel High School. And what a true testament of our K-12 public school and what she has represented. So we are so proud of you. Congratulations. And you're going to Stanford, right? And what are you going to study? Human biology, pre-med track, and economics. Wow. You'll take care of me someday.
The 2023 Governor's STEM Team Award.
Catherine, you want to come on up? All right. Each year, Governor Eric Holcomb and the Indiana Department of Education select 4 students from throughout the state as members of the governor's STEM team. This prestigious award recognizes outstanding high school students who have demonstrated exceptional talent and accomplishments in the fields of science, technology, engineering, or math. It is my honor to recognize Catherine Yu as the 2023 mathematics member of the governor's STEM team. And I would like to read this quote from the governor's website to just kind of talk about what type of person Catherine is and where she sees some connections in our society. Catherine volunteers at an assisted living facility near her home, and that helped her realize the lack of independence caused by chronic illnesses. Her research efforts in glaucoma and Alzheimer's disease using the CRISPR inference sparked a passion for improving health for all. Catherine plans to study biomedical engineering so that she can give people who suffer from chronic illnesses their freedom back. Wow, very impressive. Congrats, Catherine. Congratulations. No problem.
In our final 2 presentations tonight, we're going to recognize 2 amazing people who helped to make it so that all these previous presentations happened. Dr. Ostrike.
Good evening. It's my honor to recognize and honor the 2023 Classified Staff Member of the Year from West Clay Elementary School, Cafeteria Manager, Beth Galloway. Come on out, Beth. We have a little over 1,000 classified staff members in Carmel Clay Schools, and Beth was chosen as the support staff of the year, member of the year. And the nice thing about this award is a number of people in our community can nominate our classified staff members, and Beth received numerous nominations from her colleagues, administrators, West Clay Elementary staff members, and beyond. And so I'd like to read a couple of the statements from those nominations. Beth goes above and beyond for our staff and students. She makes the cafeteria feel inclusive, safe, and healthy for all students. Beth demonstrates outstanding leadership. She always helps others. Beth is an exceptional leader and positive role model during her 23 years with Carmel Clay Schools. When you enter her kitchen, you feel the warmth and cheer. She welcomes all visitors with riddles, jokes, safety tips, and makes her kitchen so spirited. Beth always has a smile to share with everyone. She is incredibly loyal, dedicated, and demonstrates excellence. And she takes the time to personally write a handwritten letter to each incoming kindergarten student each year, and the list goes on and on. Please join me in honoring our 2023 Carmel Clay Schools Staff Member of the Year, Beth Galloway.
And for our final presentation tonight, the 2023-2024 Armstrong Teacher Educator.
Mrs. Barnes, would you come on up here, please?
Late April, Mrs. Barnes was notified that she was selected as a recipient of the Armstrong Teacher Educator Award. Founded in 1997 in association with the IU School of Education, the Armstrong Teacher Educator Award strives to identify and select some of Indiana's best educators. In addition to recognizing educator excellence, the award provides financial support for top Indiana educators to work with current IU faculty and undergraduates in the classroom and early field experiences. Recognition as an Armstrong Award winner is a huge honor, and we're incredibly proud of Mrs. Barnes for her commitment to students, the Carmel community, and shaping the next generation of teachers. Please join me in recognizing Mrs. Stephanie Barnes for this outstanding accomplishment.
We're going to take a short pause, but before I do, I just want to acknowledge we've acknowledged some amazing students in here and some amazing staff and teachers. But I also want to say thank you to you parents. It wouldn't be without your dedication to your students, for your enthusiasm, for your patience, and all the things that made them be able to get here tonight. So thank you very much. We will now take a short 2-minute pause, and if you would like to head home or go get ice cream, because you definitely deserved it, you can for sure do that. Sorry, Mom and Dad. I know. I just want. All right, we'll now move on. We do not have any public comment tonight, so we will move into our consent items. Do I have a motion to approve consent?
So moved.
Thank you, Kristen. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? We'll now vote. All those in favor of approving consent, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Dr. Ostrike, I believe you have an announcement.
Yes, good evening, President Browning, Dr. Beresford, and members of the board. I'm excited to share that 2 new elementary assistant principals have been appointed through the approval of the consent agenda this evening. And so I want to welcome Mrs. Heather Banks as the new assistant principal at West Clay Elementary School and Mrs. Kelly Bobb as the new assistant principal at Collegewood Elementary School. First, we have Mrs. Heather Banks has served in Carmel Clay Schools for 23 years as an elementary classroom teacher, which also included a language arts lead teacher, a school-wide lead teacher, and most recently, she's been the instructional coach at West Clay Elementary. Heather has impacted student learning on many levels and has enjoyed assisting teachers to help them improve their instruction, to do what is best for students while serving as a positive change agent within the school and the district. Mrs. Banks earned her bachelor's degree from Wittenberg University in Ohio in elementary and special education, and she earned her master's degree in education administration and curriculum from Indiana University in Bloomington. Congratulations, Heather, and we are very excited that you'll be serving the district in this new role. Additionally, Mrs. Kelly Bobb, and your daughter is really excited about that, that is phenomenal, is our new assistant principal at Collegewood Elementary after serving as assistant principal for 8 years at Allisonville Elementary School. Previously to serving as an assistant principal, Kelly was an elementary teacher as well as a preschool teacher. Kelly brings a depth and breadth of assistant principal experience to CCS, and she is a strong instructional leader with significant experience across multiple grade levels with a solid foundation of child development and academics. Kelly earned her bachelor's degree from Bradley University in Illinois, and she earned her master's degree of business administration in educational leadership from the University of Indianapolis. We are thrilled to have Kelly and Heather in these roles, and we look forward to the support they will provide our school communities. Congratulations. And then finally, I'd just like to thank both of their principals, Mrs. Jill Shipp at West Clay and Mrs. Kathy Olson at Collegewood. I feel you've done a fabulous job in selecting your new assistant principals. Congratulations again.
We'd like to welcome you to the team, and if you have plans to go celebrate, feel free to go. If you also want to stay, we welcome you to do that too. Thanks, guys. We will now move on to 5.1, Declaration of Emergency for the bid award for the Carmel High School boiler roof replacement. Mr. McMichael.
Thank you. Some time ago, not too long in the past, we discovered that we had a major issue with the roof that's over the main boiler at Carmel High School. And so it's what we determined is that the metal decking basically had rusted to the point that it had part of it had fallen in, which left only the roof membrane and insulation above that. And so, one, that creates a very hazardous situation. If anybody ever stepped on that, we can keep people off the roof, but if anybody did step on it, they would fall through. But also, given that this is over the main boiler room, there's literally millions of dollars worth of equipment, mechanical equipment that's under that. And so we felt that this rose to a level of needing to be declared as an emergency because the normal bidding process and so forth would take quite some time to go through. So, and the state anticipated the potential for emergencies. And so based on the board's declaration of an emergency, you may award a contract subject to a couple conditions, one of which we've solicited at least two companies to make proposals, and I believe we had 3, and then you can declare this as an emergency, and which is what we're recommending. And so the lowest quote that we received was for $289,000. There's then a unit price for the metal decking replacement and wood nailers, and that would be based on a square footage basis, which is all of this is included in your report. And so we're not quite sure how much of that decking will need to be replaced, and therefore the roof as well. But but this would allow us to move forward quickly to correct this situation.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve the bid award for the Carmel High School boiler roof? After we have a
After the
motion and a
motion?
second.
Yeah,
Go-
So moved.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion. Greg?
Yeah, so you mentioned that we don't know how much decking needs to be replaced until they get into it, but
We're estimating that the total project, we think will be in the range of $350,000 to $400,000.
okay. I noticed the attachment had 487.
Yeah, I
Thousand.
think that would be, we think that really would be the maximum, but our best guess is it may be something less than that. But certainly will be more than just the roofing itself.
Kristen?
What's the timeline for getting that completed?
Once we have authorization to proceed, we will award this to the contractor, and then becomes a matter of how fast they can mobilize. But they understand the situation, so they, I don't think we'll have an issue with, sometimes we've had supply chain issues, but in this case, I think the material, we'd expect it to be somewhat readily available, so we believe they can start almost immediately.
Was this one of the areas, I'm guessing not, that was replaced with the explosion a few years back?
No.
Okay. Any other questions?
So we have a safety issue now, I would assume, or is it?
We have a safety issue, which is why if somebody were on the roof, they could literally fall, if they stepped in this area, they could literally fall through. So we have that blocked off. So we're not overly concerned about that, and that we think we have pretty good control in terms of anybody accessing the roof. But the part that we can't be sure of is if conditions failed to where it took on water or something like that, it could ruin a lot of equipment.
Is there an inspection process that would normally catch something like this?
Not really. It's very unusual that we would have, the deck rot out the way this did. I mean, you might look up and you'd see the metal and there could be some rust on it, but you wouldn't expect that it would. It's not typical that it would be just rotted all the way through. So now we do roof inspections, but that now we're looking for whether there's the membrane is failing and things like that. Not so much that because the deck is below all of that.
Did it get rusted because water got in from the outside?
Don't know. I don't know specifically, but obviously it had to have a certain amount of moisture from somewhere.
Do we know if there's other spots that are likely to have the same problem?
Well, we don't think so. I mean, we've naturally, when something like this happens, we do everything we can to check. I think we've done some like infrared, I think it is, where they can determine if there's moisture in the deck and so forth.
So this would be the original frame that was up there?
As far as I know, yes.
How old is the school building?
Well, it was built in, started in about 1959, and there was major work done in the 70s, and I don't know which, section offhand this particular area is, but, and then there was considerable amount of work done in the 90s at that location.
Do you think we need to do some kind of inspection of other parts of the roof?
Well, I have confidence that our director of facilities, between our director of facilities and our other resources, our architects and so forth, and construction manager, that they no doubt are going to do what they think is appropriate to as best of their ability to ensure that we don't have other areas that we need to be concerned about.
Any other questions, Greg?
Yeah, no, other than it's just kind of shocking to have a roof collapse without any advance notice, and I would think that we would there would be some special thing we would do, since it's surprising, right, that this would happen. It would rust out. So I don't know about how buildings hold up over the years, but I would think it would have had some kind of a leak. There'd be somehow some moisture got in there that would have caused that rusting. But I'd imagine if it's just this, I just worry that if it's not just this one area, could it be some other places, and we have some kind of a real calamity, where people's lives or at risk and that kind of a thing.
I can assure you that, that our staff, including myself, would have the same concerns that you're expressing. And the difference between them and me is that they actually kind of know what they're doing in terms of what to do if you have something like this. Between our own in-house staff, who happens to be a licensed architect, but also the consultants that we use on construction projects, there's no doubt conversation amongst the group that as to the best things to do going forward to minimize any possibility that we'd have other areas of concern like this. This is extremely unusual in my career, at least. I don't recall ever I've not had very many occasions to declare emergencies. I don't even remember the last one offhand, but it's the whole this whole issue is a very rare occurrence, fortunately.
Could we get a report down the road, once they've done the emergency repairs of if we think there's some other risky areas, or if they've done something that would look for that? I'm not sure how they would see that. If I can't see it from above because the roof's there, but if there's some way to do some kind of inspections, if that structure was built in 1959, it just seems like it's something we ought to really ensure that we're not going to have, like I said, have it happen in other areas. And
Yeah, we'll provide information as
Okay.
specific, and follow up as to what we did as a result of this, and also once it's finished, and whatever else we have done to address those kind of concerns.
Kristen?
thank you.
It sounds like you kind of were already thinking forward to do some of the infrared that you were talking about, that they were looking at those areas. That sounds like it's.
I believe, as
Okay.
I recall, that's already been done. I
Okay.
don't know how extensively. I believe it
Okay.
was done here as a beginning point, just to try to assess the scope of the problem.
Makes sense.
Thank you. All right, we'll now take a vote. All those in favor of approving the bid award for the Carmel High School boiler roof replacement, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McMichael. We will now move on to our workshop topic tonight, work-based learning. Dr. Dudley.
Thank you. So this evening, I'm very excited to bring some information to you of some exciting things that are happening at the high school. We have Mr. Chard Reed, who is our work-based learning coordinator. This is a new position that he took on in October of this past year. And he's going to share with you the wonderful experiences that our students have the opportunity for. And then we also have a student here this evening that she's going to share her experience in the work-based learning. So I'll turn it over to Mr. Reed. And Mr. Reed, you'll have to be behind the podium because the microphone needs to pick you up. So, yeah.
I'm might be a little awkward. I'm kind of a walker normally, so apologize for that. Well, this is the work-based learning program. It's through our CHS Polytechnic department now, which has combined a lot of the different departments, and we'll talk a lot more about that. But I want to talk to you not only about work-based learning in general, but also about our capstone experiences that we offer. Just to kind of make sure everyone's on the same page with some of the operational definitions I'll be using today. According to Perkins 5, work-based learning is basically sustained interactions with industry or community professionals in a real workplace setting. That's one way to do it. Or in simulated environments. Things like our automotive bays and the Carmel Cafe and our culinary arts programs like Cheftacular. Those would all be simulated experiences at an educational institution that fosters in-depth, first-hand engagement with the tasks associated with the given career field. And I think as we go through this program tonight, we hear from Claire and Marissa from the City of Carmel, you'll get to see firsthand how our students are given the opportunity to have that type of engagement with career-related tasks and thought processes. And finally, all of those things are aligned to the curriculum and the instruction, not only at Carmel High School, but through the programs offered through the state of Indiana. Another term that I'll use is career pathway. And I don't know if you all know this or not, but we have over 20 career pathways now established at Carmel High School. And students can use the career pathways to earn what's called concentrator status. And that's one of the buckets that students can use to qualify for graduation. Some students will use college readiness. This would be a career readiness bucket that they can check. And they do that by completing 3 courses in a career pathway. The capstone course, which is, I'm the teacher for all of those, the capstone course is icing on the cake. Nobody's required to do the capstone. And what I love about that is you don't have any students who feel compelled to do this. These are students who genuinely want real world experience. They genuinely want to apply what they've been learning over the last 3 years, and they're eager to get their foot in the door in the industry. And most of them, the biggest thing that they're wanting to do is develop a strong network and have folks who are going to say really nice things and be great references for them someday. And they're eager to get going with it. So kind of how that looks is most of our pathways, not all, would have a principal's course freshman or sophomore year. And then students have an opportunity the following year to take a concentrator A, which is like an advanced course, and then another advanced course called concentrator B. That gets you that concentrator status. With some of our programs, however, like our CNA program, Certified Nursing Assistant, all 3 of those courses are completed in 1 year. It's like a crash course in it, and they go hard on it. And second semester, they do a clinical, and they go to a nursing facility, and they are hands-on with their teacher and their peers in the cohort serving patients in the community. It's a really cool experience. Same with our EMT program. That's all done in 1 year. The capstone course by state and next level programs of studies regulation can be 2 to 6 credit hours a year. However, for this first year, we've elected to make all of our capstone experiences 2 credits per semester. So a total of 4 credits for consistency until we kind of get things rolling in the way that we want and see how we can implement them going forward. So a couple examples of a pathway. This is our accounting career pathway up top. And students can take Principles of Business Management their freshman year. They can take accounting fundamentals and then advanced accounting. And this year I've actually got, this year coming up for the following school year, I have 4 students who are doing accounting internships. 2 will be with Katzapper and Miller. 1 will be with Blue & Company. And then 1 will be with Edgewater CPA. And so the way we kind of choose that is I meet with all the students who've registered to do a capstone experience and get to know them, get to know their career goals, their personal preferences, and also just kind of their background. I talk to their teachers and ask about their specific strengths and where they see them. And then after I've developed partnerships in the community, I have kind of a matchmaker role. And I make a recommendation to the business, and businesses then have the opportunity to say, this kid's awesome, we want to go with them, or hey, I'm not sure this is a great fit this year. And it always is up to the business at that point. But what I love about our program and the way that we're implementing it at Carmel Clay Schools is that students come to that internship with 3 years of coursework. Different places do it differently, but in some places you can actually just do an internship with no coursework experience. And I think the expertise, it's not like they have a college major, but they have a lot of working knowledge of accounting when they get there. And they're gonna be familiar with the terminology and the concepts. And so our employers that we're working with have all been very, very excited about that. And I'm excited for you to hear from Marissa about that as well here shortly. Another one that was recently highlighted by Emily Bauer on our district communications through social media and the website was our automotive services. And we had a senior, Cole, who has been at Reynolds. And what was cool is we were going to put him at a local auto shop, and he's like, I really am thinking about being an auto diesel tech. So it's like, let's reach out to Reynolds. And Reynolds was so great about getting him in there. And not only did they, these positions are paid, they're making $12 to $16 an hour. They also offered him tuition reimbursement to go to John Deere University and get his auto diesel certification next year and to continue employment with them. And that's through Vincennes University. So it's a really, really cool partnership that we have with them. And then one of our newer pathways, human services, that kind of encapsulates a lot of things. But they can take this principles as a freshman or sophomore, Human Services A and B are together, and they actually go into the community as a good part of that class to do clinicals and go work in the community, more of a volunteer basis. In senior year, they'll also be able to have a paid internship. But one of our partners is formerly Chassey's Place, Indiana Center for Youth Abuse and Suicide, Prevention of Youth Abuse and Suicide. It's a lot of words now. But they're fantastic partners, and they've come in and they've spoken to our students, and they're really eager to start bringing people on board to help with the wonderful work that they do in our community. And our kids were really excited about when they came to the class to see those types of opportunities. So just kind of give you an idea of my vision and the vision that we've adopted at Carmel High School with Dr. Ferris and Brad Seaver and others, is there's really a phase, a continuum of work-based learning. And it's not just the internships that I've kind of started talking about, but that definition said it's sustained interactions with community members and professionals, right? So we've kind of broken it down into 4 phases. The first is discover. Like, just discover what's out there career-related. And some of the things that we do, like Melinda Steffen's done a fantastic job in counseling. She hosts all kinds of job fairs and college nights, career days. We're trying to set up more guest speakers. Like the human services teachers, they asked me, hey, could you find 3 or 4 really meaningful guest speakers to come in that would help us hit these areas of human services? I view my role as including that, not just the internships, but helping to embed work-based learning across that continuum. So that's typically going to be in principals level classes or maybe concentrator A, job shadowing and networking events, project-based learning units. So some of the businesses have said, hey, we would love to develop a project with you and kind of base it on something that we've experienced, and we would come in and actually be an expert to listen to the kids' ideas and give them feedback. I would love to see more of that through the curriculum. And then case studies and having outside experts come in, kind of like what we do for DECA, but to do that in a lot of different career pathways. And then finally, under prepares, we have the pathway capstones, and those are those internships that happen after 3 courses. We also have what's called the work-based learning capstone. We have some of those this year coming up where a student has taken the principals class and a concentrator A, but they're not going to finish the pathway, but they do want to learn more about that pathway and have this internship experience. And we have school-based enterprises like the Carmel Cafe and Market, which Claire also was part of and was the chief marketing officer for. So she's had all kinds of work-based learning experience. And then the last one, develop, we see that as more as outside of high school. That's probably when you enter the workforce or when you're in college. So the way that aligns with our coursework is like this. In principals, we're kind of in a discover phase. In concentrator A and B, we're exploring and preparing. And then in capstone, we're definitely all in on preparing. So some of our partners that we have connected with, the City of Carmel, Marissa's going to share with you about that experience. Savor Downtown. One of the cool things about that is he's taken on 2 marketing interns. And not only is he going to have them working in the restaurant, but he's going to take specific time from 1 to 4 before the restaurant's open to read through a couple business textbooks and study that with them. They're going to have homework in there. But he's also going to have like opportunities to actually do the ordering for inventory and tracking cost. That's like 1 month. And then another month, they're going to be in charge of the social media and all the promotions. Then the next month, they're just going to have like a random special projects. And he's going to kind of cycle them back through and continue to go a little bit deeper with the projects throughout the year. And he's all in on that. Like he's really excited about it. IU Health has agreed to hire 9 nursing interns, and they're paying them like $16 an hour. Heartland Food Group, there will be a story spotlight on them by Emily Bauer coming out shortly about one of our interns that was there this year. But they do Splenda, and they've had an intern there. Cat Sapper Miller will have 2 this coming year. Blue and Company, the Goddard School will host some of our early childhood students. We have, I think, a total of 6 or 7 early childhood students that are going to do internships next year. Dreyer and Reinbold is what a fantastic facility with the great vision for wanting to build their employment pipeline. Most of their employees have come from high school internships, which is really, really neat. The Cottage Animal Clinic is hosting a vet science student. But you can see we have a very wide variety of partners that we've already established in just 1 year or less than a year. And then like for our fashion kids, they can work at Bash Boutique, Skillman Group, who's doing all kinds of construction in the high school. They have 2 project manager interns that have been in the construction pathway. And I walked down to talk to maintenance today, and one of the young men was right there. He's on his iPad looking at floor plans. And I was like, dude, this is awesome. Show me more. And he was like so excited to show me what he was doing. But it's fantastic how much autonomy and also just how much responsibility that they're giving those 2 young men. All right, so just a quick overview of the pathways that we have that will have capstone experiences next year. You can see we've finalized 57 of our internships for next year. There are still 3 that are in the interview phase, which means the interview's scheduled or they've done it and they're working with HR at this point. So they're pretty much all done. We're going to have 60 experiences next year. But you've got 4 in accounting, 2 in auto, 3 in business management, 9 in nursing, 3 in construction, 16 in computer science, 3 in culinary arts, 7 in early childhood, 1 in ed professions will be over at Carmel Elementary with her former teacher, and she's so tickled to death to do that. 2 in engineering, 2 in fashion and textiles. Then Helens HQ is an opportunity for kids. They actually help run all of our social media for the athletic department. And if you haven't looked at it, it's fantastic. Like, you should get on and see the great things that these kids are doing. Infographics, videos, it's very, very, very engaging. And they all meet together first period, and they're in the board, the conference room of the athletic department. And they've got all kinds of Gantt charts and idea boards going, and they're like strategizing how are they going to message for the week. It's really, really cool what they're doing. And then we have 3 kids with vet science. 2 of those will be through the Pursuit Institute partnership that we have, and will be through Connor Prairie. And then we have a welding internship through the Pursuit Institute, in which they actually are going to have a licensed instructor at Westfield Steel who will be teaching the class, but also giving a student an opportunity to work and get hands-on with welding. So I'd like to bring Claire up and Marissa. Why don't you guys come together if you'd like and have them share a little bit about the awesome experience that she had this year, and then we'll take some questions from you all at the end.
Hello, everybody. My name is Claire Enos. I just graduated from Carmel High School. I went to Carmel Clay Schools all through elementary, middle, and high school. And I'm super excited to present my experience. I was able to have this internship with the city of Carmel, but I also, as Mr. Reed mentioned, was super involved with the Carmel Cafe. I got to go on the school-based enterprise paper to the international competition for DECA, and my partner and I actually placed 4th in the entire world, so it was an amazing experience. Thank you. But today I really wanted to highlight my experience with the City of Carmel's Community Relations and Economic Development team. So I wanted to just go through the entire process, the hiring, and then all the different tasks that I was a part of with my internship. So this opportunity was brought to me by Mr. Reed, first semester of my senior year, and it really started in the classroom. We worked on my resume in my digital marketing class, which was one of my favorite classes, and I got to kind of build my portfolio in there. So I had that resume sheet, but then I also got to use my creativity to make a website. This also helped me in my college applications, and it was my resume that was displayed more visually and more interactive. And Mr. Reed really helped me combine these 2 together and present it to Marissa and my other bosses. And I was actually able to take that website, make a QR code, and put it onto my resume. I also learned how to write a cover letter in digital marketing, and Mr. Reed obviously helped me fine-tune that and make it more applicable to this internship. And then from there, I was able to work with Mr. Reed and have him do some practice interview questions and scenarios with me, not only to help me be prepared for this interview, but also to make sure I felt comfortable and knew at the end of the interview if that was an internship that I knew I could bring my assets to and I knew that I would want to pursue. So it was beneficial for both of us. Next on the screen, I just have my two main tasks that I was a part of with my internship. The first being social media. All of those bullet points, the caffeine trail, winter games, meet me on Main, those are all the different events that I was able to work on, which were amazing opportunities. And through those events, I did a lot of social media, which I'll touch on in more detail in the next slide. But then I also got some event planning experience. We had Midtown Block Party, which was the most amazing experience. I got to build that event with Marissa's guidance from the ground up. She let me take the wheel on that, and she was helping me all along the way. And then also Art of Dog. That event never ended up happening, but it was a great way to start getting experience in the planning part of event planning. I created this chart here to showcase the skills that I was able to further develop through this internship along with the tasks, and they kind of correspond with each other. So I just wanted to touch on each of them. The first being time management. This skill I was kind of forced into. I was, as Mr. Reed mentioned, the co-head of DECA, the chief marketing officer. I was the editor for the yearbook, and I was participating in GCOM and NHS along with this internship, and I had a job outside of school. So I quickly had to learn how to manage my time effectively. But my internship, and specifically Marissa, really enforced and taught me the importance of balancing not only all of the different things that I was involved in, but also how important it is to balance your work and home life so that you're getting the rest you need and you're having a well-rounded experience. But because I was forced into time management, I also knew that when I was at my internship or any of the other things that I was a part of, I had to focus and have determination when I was there. And because I was so passionate about my work, that was very easy for me to do. Next is communication. I learned through this internship that there is no such thing as too much communication. I over communicated, and that was very beneficial for me. I was able to communicate internally within the staff, specifically in our staff meetings. I also communicated with vendors, especially for our events, and then lastly with community members. And then the next skill was advocation and creativity. These were two skills that I definitely were prepared for this internship through Carmel High School. With the school being so big, you definitely get taught to advocate for yourself and know your strengths and play to them. So in the staff meetings, I really tried to be an advocate for myself. I'll tell a little story. My mom actually would tell me for one of her first jobs outside of college, she was sitting in a huge staff meeting and she was just kind of observing and taking everything in and just kind of sitting and watching. And then when the meeting concluded, her boss came up to her and was like, "How do you think you did?" And she was like, "I think I did okay. Like I was just taking it all in." And he was like, "No, you need to do better. You need to talk more, advocate, express your ideas." So going into this internship, I knew that I really wanted to make sure that I left a lasting impact and that I could bring my perspective and skills to the table. So within these staff meetings, I really tried to have some input that I knew would be important and effective. And an example of that is I really tried to bring the social media to the table. I really wanted to work with influencers, and I knew that the social media was such an important part, so that's what I advocated for the most. And then with the event planning, my creativity really started at the planning phase, and I made sure to continue that creative vision through the execution phase. And then another place where I used my creativity was kind of out there was actually the editing of social media. Social media was a huge part of my internship, and it was really awesome to get to be able to show my creativity through editing because I was able to take the content that I curated and planned and then put my vision and bring it to life for people that I knew my age and even younger that they would get something out of that. And then the last skill was attention to detail. Going into this internship, this was my weakest skill. I am a very all-in person. It's sometimes I can't focus on the details. So being in this internship, I was almost forced to do that, and I'm very glad because I'm walking away with that new skill in my toolbox. So specifically with content accuracy, obviously working for a government entity, that added in a whole nother layer of difficulty, making sure that I was neutral and that I was making sure that I was presenting the facts only and making sure that everything was accurate for the community members to see. Also, spelling and grammar, that was a big one, making sure my captions were in AP style for the social media posts and the media advisories that I worked on. and then also making sure that all of the posts were fun and engaging, yet professional and clear for everyone to see. Next, I'll talk about the tasks more in detail that I got to work on. So my main task and the task I'm most proud of was the event planning and execution, specifically of Midtown Block Party. This event, as I mentioned, was a new event. We made it from the ground up, and it was a summer kickoff party for the entire community, all ages, family members, to come and celebrate summer. And I started this by working with Marissa in her office, and we put together a vision board looking through out social media and the internet for different inspiration photos that we wanted to use. And then we took our own creativity and made sure that we made it our own. And then from there, I put together a rough plan of what I wanted to look like. I got to communicate with the vendors that I wanted there. I got to pick out different giveaway items for the giveaway basket and making sure that that was okay and working with the budget. So a lot of different elements were put together through that rough plan, and then communicating that with Marissa and the rest of the staff, along with the vendors and the street department and police, everyone who was involved. Once that communication was set in place, I was able to create a firm plan that we were able to follow, and from there communicate that so that everyone was on the same page. It was really important to me to over communicate so that everyone knew the expectations and vision for my event so that it kind of went the exact way. And I feel like that's also beneficial because then if people know the expectations, then we don't have to be back and forth of like, oh, is this okay, is this okay? Then they know the expectations and they can work from that. And then lastly, just the day of tasks and coordination. It was a beautiful day until it wasn't. It was pouring down rain for like just 10 minutes, but Marissa and I were out there pushing water off the top of the tents, getting soaking wet, but it turned out to be amazing, and it was actually one of the most populated attended events, close to how Carmel Fest is on the 4th of July, so it was awesome. The next task that I did, which I touched on already, was the vendor communication, just emailing them. A big thing was meetings. I didn't have to meet with every single vendor, obviously, but specifically I got to meet with our digital creators. They're the Wilkinson brothers, and it was really beneficial to meet with them for the social media posts and logos so that we could collaborate and share our visions so we could all work together on that. And then lastly, with Marissa's help, we got to make the maps, and that was really important because that showed all the vendors where they needed to be set up, along with communicating with the street department, the road closures, and the police department, and then also the community for what roads they can't drive on, but also come to our event. And then lastly, just the forums and surveys, getting feedback from these vendors, how we can make it a more enjoyable experience for them and how it could be user-friendly for them. And then next is the social media planning and content creation. I got to work with another team member. Her name was Gabby, or is Gabby. And with her, I was able to create a content calendar. I had never done that before, but it was super helpful because we got to plan what content we wanted, on which platforms, what days we were going to create that content, and how we were going to do it. So then it made going and gathering that content so much easier because we already had a plan. And then again, as I've said, we had the same vision, which was very important with this government entity. Also with that, I got to form a lot of relationships with the vendors, which was one of my favorite parts of this internship. Going and getting to work with them was amazing, and also getting to have and form that relationship with them allowed their personality to shine through in the videos and content, which made the content more personable and a lot more popular on our platforms. And then I also got to sharpen my photography and videography skills and also the editing. And lastly, one of the smaller tasks that I got to work on was a media advisory, but I included it because I think it was really important, and I'm sure I'll get to work on these again in the future. So just having that wide range of skills that I was able to work on was really important to me. So this media advisory, just again, making sure that the content was accurate, concise, yet appealing, but also represented the event well in what I wanted it to look like. So that is a little bit about the skills and tasks that I did, but I really want to leave you guys here with what I think is most important is that I think learning in the classroom is that first step. I had amazing teachers, specifically digital marketing, Mrs. Cardamon. She really prepared me with all of these skills in my toolbox, but then taking that next step and taking those skills and applying them in the real world professional environment with Marissa and Mrs. Heck and all of the people that I got to work with in the cred department was that next step that I will carry with me into college and beyond. and I feel confident in my skills and abilities now. So thank you, Mr. Reed, for the opportunity, and Marissa. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Claire did a great job explaining all the various things that she got to do. As I said, I'm Marissa Kay. I'm from City of Carmel. I'm in the Community Relations and Economic Development Department. So we work closely with the mayor's office and doing all the city events that I'm sure you guys know about. Carmel Fest, Midtown Block Party, all of our ceremonies, Memorial Day. Claire was able to experience some of those, just sitting in on those with me, as well as, like she said, doing a lot of the hands-on planning experience. Personally, I went to Noblesville, and so I did an internship program like this about 8-9 years ago, and I absolutely loved it. And when I heard that Carmel was doing this, I jumped at the opportunity to see how we could connect Carmel schools with City of Carmel. I believe the city is such an amazing place, as I grew up in Hamilton County, and I see it continually growing. And I really wanted to help cultivate the young minds like Claire here, who is very amazing, and I loved working with her this semester. And I really hope that we can continue to have more students working in the city, not just in my department, but in lots of different avenues in the city. We have our streets department, we have engineering, HR, there's all sorts of opportunities. And I took that experience when I was in high school doing a very similar program that led me to what I did at Ball State and what I'm even doing now. So it makes a huge difference. And I just appreciate you guys supporting programs like this and having Claire and all of that. So I just want to say thank you, and thank you, Mr. Reed, for allowing Claire to be part of our department. And she was amazing. She helped me with a lot of even like little tasks like delivering brochures to all my caffeine trail locations, to planning all the Midtown Block Party. As she said, there's a little bit of the grunt work, but a little bit of the more event work. So I think there's something for everyone. And I truly tried to cultivate the internship to what the student wanted, as well as give them a variety of experiences. Thank you.
I think Marissa, too, has been a model mentor, because many times she's just asked Claire, like, what are you interested in, and what do you want to do? And she's been really adamant about that because she had that experience. But thank you both for sharing. Thank you for the great work that you did this semester and for giving Claire this opportunity. It's amazing. What questions do you all have about the program?
Yes, I'll definitely open up two first things. First of all, welcome back, Mr. Reed. If there was any job that I could invent for you, this would be it.
Oh,
It
thank
makes
you.
my heart so happy that this is what you're doing, because it's just fantastic from how we've worked together in the past, and this makes me excited. Claire, you are amazing. You're an amazing public speaker. You made me exhausted, all the things that you did. Kudos to your parents, I'm guessing. Is this parents? You have an amazing daughter, not that you don't already know that. Thank you, Kay. Is Marissa? Okay. Thank you, Marissa, for all your time and energy that you pour into our students. It really makes a difference. So just chef's kiss all around. With that being said, I have a couple questions when I open up to my peers. Thoughts, questions? Kristen.
Claire, I just was wondering what your college plans were. Wonderful.
Did you see her shoes? I can see why she's going into
Yes.
that.
And then I had a
Yeah,
just a
go
quick
for it.
comment. I just wanted to say thank you to Mr. Reed. My father was a guidance counselor at what I don't know if it will be called now, but like a polytechnic type high school. And so it's very important to me that we offer these programs at our school for a different pathway. And for some students who don't want to go to college but have that other pathway to go right into a career, I appreciate you.
It's exciting. Thank you. Thank you.
Greg?
Yeah, I would echo the value of internships, and I think, Claire, your experience and the way you articulated it was a testament to how important it is and how it really helps you grow. You did a wonderful job presenting too. That was amazing. Just a question about the internships. How does that work in terms of like how many days and hours of the
Great
school
question.
week? And
Yeah, so since we're doing 2 periods, there's a variety of ways that you can paired up. So we find that it's probably ideal to do back-to-back periods. So let's say you did Blue Day 1 and 2, and we allow the employers, if they're paying, they can ask the student to come in at 8 o'clock. And so they could work from like 8 to noon, get 4 hours in every other day, and then they can be back in time for third period. The student doesn't have to comply with that. They can say, no, 9:05, and that's what I can do. But all of them want to make money. So most of them are eager for that. And then we also do like an afternoon shift, like B3 and B4. And then some of those students actually end up working until 7, 8 at night. Like if they're a culinary student, they can start the food prep right after school during third and fourth period, and then they can be there through the shift. And then we also have some students who do first period both days. So they'll start at 8 or even maybe even 7 at some places, and they'll work till about 9:20, and then they'll head over to the high school. We just got to make sure they're on time every day, and we work out the timing with the employer. But it's typically going to be back-to-back periods. So then I share the blue gold calendar with the employer, and the student's expected to kind of keep the employer informed. Like, I know last week was a blue week, but this is too because we have PSAT, and like kind of explaining how the days work because no businesses operate in a block. But that's typically how it works. And Marissa was very flexible with all of that, which was awesome.
How does transportation work?
The students are required to have their own transportation. They can either drive themselves or a parent can pick them up and transport.
Wonderful.
Thank you. Couple things. First of all, the presentation just gave me goosebumps. Like I was so excited. It's amazing the opportunities that our students have, and I appreciate Dr. Dudley you bringing this to us. Thank you again, Claire. And the two things. Sorry, I'm just so excited. First of all, I think the opportunities are amazing. My daughter is going to be a sophomore, and she's currently doing the biomed track. And I think it's incredibly amazing how, she's got this plan. She's like, when I'm a senior, I'm going to be an EMT, and I'm going to do this. And I'm just like, holy cow, you're like 15. And I think it's just incredible the opportunities that our kids have to be able to at their fingertips. And you guys make it so easy for them. And I think that's so amazing. They have to put in the work, but you give them the opportunity. So thank you so much to your team and your team, you guys all around. I do have a tip for you. If you haven't tapped in, we have an amazing program called Expedition, where we bring in so many community members and who do so many different things with the schools. And that is an amazing resource for you, for businesses, guest speakers. We have a long list of an amazing Carmel and Hamilton County alumni who I know would be wonderful to have these opportunities for you. So that's a
great
tip for
idea.
you.
I love that.
And then also, Carmel is just the headquarters of everything, it seems, nowadays. So I can't wait to see in future years where we have students at Republic Airways and all these different amazing pathways that we have. So again, kudos all around. Thank you guys so much for coming, for presenting to us. And again, a round of applause for all of you. And then Dr. Dudley, did you have anything?
No, I want to echo your thoughts and echo to Mr. Reed. I would agree the position that he holds now, this is the best place for you, and you're doing amazing work. And Dr. Ferris as well for supporting this. Thank you so much. And Marissa and Claire, thanks for presenting tonight. And I'm glad you had wonderful experiences. And good luck. My husband was a Gamecock as well, so good luck. Thanks.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, Dr. B, try to top that with your superintendent's report.
Not even going to try. Congratulations, and that's fabulous. And real-world experience is just something that just resonates and works. And 60 for next year. That's massive growth. So great job, great job. I'd hustle out because my reports usually aren't very exciting. Wow, what a great night, huh? The presentations, robotics, cybersecurity, national economics competitions. The governor's STEM team, I think we've had at least one student on the STEM team every year except for one since the governor started that. And then have two presidential scholars Dr. Ferris, we just kind of shake our heads for both of the kids to land at Carmel. And again, we've had one presidential scholar, I think, for the last, is it 3 years, maybe? 2 or 3 years. And then our support staff member of the year, as you know, she's one of the most humble people in the world. And the kids, the staff, everyone just loved that woman. And she's just a fabulous person. And then the Armstrong Award is special because it's not just an award that's given. It's actually an award that's asked for you to come and give what you have and your talents and share that with not only the students that are coming out of the educational program, but also you're working very closely with the professors at IU. And so that boots on the ground, connecting with the preparation that's going in the college is critical to having, a programming that makes sense. So, boy, they're living large to have that individual with them. So anyhow, wow, it was good. I want to jump into the world of sports because, as I shared earlier with you all, the year is coming to a close, and usually it comes to a close, after graduation. But also the sports keep going, and so we've got kind of a wrap up going on right now. But this is how the spring sports finished, which is extremely strong. We had 2 state champions in boys lacrosse and girls tennis. We had 2 state runners up in girls lacrosse and boys track and field. Girls track and field was 3rd, so they weren't too far off of that. Cole Matheson ended his storied career at Carmel High School by winning the 3200 at the state meet, so he was champion for 2nd year in a row. But kind of the special thing about that was he ran 2 other events before that, and it was about 90 degrees that day. And not only did he, we came 5 points short of being the state champions, but in the 3200 meter that he won, his teammate, Tony, passed him on the last lap. And Cole came back and passed Tony back. And they came in 1-2, and I think that's only happened one other time in Indiana history. And I was telling him that after the race, and I said, but we went faster, right? And I was like, yeah, your times were faster than those 2 guys. You have to be old to know about that kind of stuff. But very, very special. And then the Gabriela Grande Rosas, Olivia Sabalo, Campbell Walmsley, and Emily Norris are the state champions in the 1600 relay for the girls track team. So just some fantastic performances, very strong finish. And we have one event left, and that is Junior Mason Price. We wish you good luck tomorrow. He's going to be competing as an individual in the state golf tournament. So that's going to be going on down the street here, and give Mason our best. Also, finishing another special kid's career was I was honored to go to the All-Star game on Saturday night with Mrs. B, and we watched the Indiana-Kentucky All-Star game, and it was at Gamebridge Fieldhouse. Dr. Ferris was there with his dad and son, and we got to watch Sam Orm play his last high school basketball game. He was chosen, and it was an honor just to watch him. And Sam's one of those guys, not only a great player, he's just a great human being. He's just a great kid. And it's always gratifying to see a great kid, getting reward for hard work. And he was just fabulous in that game. And Indiana actually lost, which we don't typically do, on Friday night in Kentucky. So there was a little bit of a chip on the shoulder for coming home to Indiana, and they won by 20-plus points and pretty much handled it. And Sam played great, so it was a great end to an outstanding career. So happy for Sam, and it was, again, an honor to watch it. So we had Kaya Jackson, related to our vice president, and Emma Metzger from Carmel High School won the Poor-T Leadership Connection Scholarships. And this was connected to a wonderful program that our Carmel Rotary Club puts on. And they plan for it all year long and have this outstanding day of they actually break into 2 things. One is a leadership, kind of like conference, and then they do a public service project as well. And but they won the $1,000 scholarship and a laptop as part of that program. And in addition to that, Jacqueline Escobedo, and Maverick Suber from Crystal House, Wananabe Manual High School, and then Florgisel Garcia from Providence Cristo Rey High School. And both those are charter schools, more in the Indianapolis area. Those kids from those high schools come to this leadership program as well. And then they were the winners of also those three actually won the $1,000 scholarships and laptop as well. So really a special program that Carmel Rotary's done for kids, and they're great partners to work with. And Louise is a leader and part of that, and it's just good to see that come through. My fourth thing is this place has been buzzing. This building, from the day we got out of school, we had to take the tables down and put all these chairs up, and then we're going to take these chairs back down and put tables back up because we've had dozens and dozens and dozens of teachers coming in for professional development. So summer is a special time in this building. Place is buzzing with training, with things such as updated math programming that's going on, training new technologies, as you expect, new staff onboarding with Dr. O's team. We just love the buzz of people that are trying to get better. You know, one of our themes was we wanted to be the best at getting better a few years ago, and that's really what's happening. And they're just growing their skills each summer in preparation for the next year. And they're doing that because they want to serve our kids and their families at the highest level. So for those of you that are wondering, these aren't paid trainings. They're not making money. They're coming here because they want to get better. And they want to be prepared, and they want to do the very best job they can for the students and families that we serve. So kudos to our staff that's showing up in the summer and doing the work. So for my bell ringer, though, I have to go back to May 25th. It was the last day of school, and it was 7 o'clock when I was standing on the stage with Dr. Ferris, and we watched the class of 2023 graduate. And I shared with the class of 2023 that they had distinguished themselves at a high, and I would say arguably a historic level. As you saw tonight, national level, national caliber competitions and different things, but more like they're like national level scholars. And then we saw it in music, we saw it in academics, we saw it in drama, we saw it in we just saw it all across the board. Just a very, very successful class that really accomplished a lot. For your first year, Dr. Ferris, I don't know how you're going to do a second that's going to beat the class of 2023, but somehow we seem to do that. They set records in giving, though. And one thing I wanted to point out was they had a lot of laurels, but they set records in giving, but not just with money. They gave their time, they gave their energy, and gave that most often just because they cared. They stepped up when their friends needed support. If they saw something, they said something, and they did something. They took care of one another. I've shared with them that I felt like they took our district tagline, which is "Together we achieve," and expanded it to include a lot more than just test scores and trophies. I shared that I think everyone would agree that smarts with heart is the stuff that we all hope and pray to see in our kids. And I would also argue that they're the key ingredients to making the world a better place. And we saw that in the class of 2023. So we saw their, you've heard a couple of kids tonight that they started out in kindergarten in Carmel Clay Schools, and they walked across that stage on the 25th. And we saw them. We saw them going through tough times. And we also saw their joy and gratitude when things got better in the good times. And we watched them learn and grow into just wonderful people. And so my bell ringer has to be the class of 2023. And one more congratulations to the students and families. And last word from Dr. B is go make the world a better place, Greyhounds. And that concludes my superintendent's report.
With that, we will hopefully see most of you in 2 weeks for our regular June board meeting, and I will take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.